Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. How's everyone doing? Thank you for joining us on this special day. Happy Veterans Day to all the vets that's out there. I hope you enjoyed your day, even though we celebrate you all day and every day. And this evening, I have the pleasure of sitting down with Qawnana Lee, who's better known to most of us as Q, who happens to be a woman veteran who served and who is still serving. Even though she's not in the military, she still serves in her community. So we'll be sitting down with you, talking to you this evening. How are you doing, Q?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for
Great.
having me on.
Great. So before we get started, I'm going to open us up in a word of prayer to make sure we cover it and make sure we have a great interview. So, Lord, we just say thank you. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this woman that sits in front of me, God. Give her the words to get out who she is in the past, now, and present, and where she going in the future. We bless all the veterans that are here and those that have gone home to be with you, God, including my dad, my uncles. We just want to reverence and just say thank you for them serving in this country, for us to be able to sleep good at night, knowing that our country is safe from any danger and harm. So, Lord, just guide me as I interview Q. This is a very special interview for me because she is my friend, a co-worker, a sister. So I know her deeply. And yeah, we're just going to get into it and just let you have your way. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Yes. So I always ask, who is Qawnana Lee?
Wow. Well, I'm a mother first and foremost. You know that. I always say that. Obviously, I'm an entrepreneur. I'd like to believe I'm a leader, a coach, and a mentor. And I'd like to believe I'm a good friend. There were a whole lot of other things I could have put on this list, but those were the ones that I felt were the most important to share today.
And I always ask, you being, and oh, wait a minute. Oh, let me backtrack. She also sits on YBC Youth Building Conversation Board as the
Yeah,
vice president. So
yeah,
she has been doing this journey with me through COVID-19 up
yes,
until today.
yeah.
So, like I asked everyone during COVID-19, with the experiences we have and still been having, how did that affect you personally, spiritually, and professionally?
Yeah. Well, first, let me start by saying thank you for allowing me to serve on your board as a vice president. Thank you for trusting in me, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of such an amazing journey. And I'm really proud of you for what you've done, and I'm excited for where things are going to go with YBC. As far as COVID-19, wow, like everybody else, I think for me, I think isolation challenged me to learn to get to know myself better, to learn to enjoy my own company. It was the first time in my entire life that I actually had been alone. I went from, growing up in my mother's home, the oldest of three kids, to joining the military and being married at 19 and raising a family. So I had never, with the exception of probably about 14 months of my whole life, I had never been alone before. And I had right before COVID hit, I did go through a challenging time with my family. I did end up filing for divorce and separating from my husband at the time. And then right when I did that, shortly after that, COVID hit and the world shut down. So not only was I trying to figure out whether or not our job, because you and I were working together at the time. So we were kind of up in arms, worried about whether or not we were going to be laid off. Um, I just moved into a new place. My whole world had just basically changed instantaneously. And and I had to learn how to truly be alone. And, before I go and say that some of this was probably the best thing that ever happened to me, I have to say that, my heart does still go out to all of those families who lost loved ones to COVID, or lost their jobs to COVID, or lost their families to COVID. You know, the world literally got shook upside down because of COVID. And for me, you know, I got a chance to kind of heal alone. And you know me, I'm really private. Um, you know, oh, by the way, I did a thing, you know, I'm that person versus, hey, I'm going to do this. And what do you think? I normally don't share until after it's done. And so because I am a private person, it afforded me the opportunity to go through a lot of the challenges that I would basically face at that time. And, you know, I mean, it was a wild ride for me personally. However, my faith was stretched during COVID, and still now. I mean, again, you know, COVID's not over; it's still a
Right.
thing. And you know, I'm what they consider high risk, and because I'm high risk, I have to learn how to be very, very mindful about how I navigate through the world. I have to be, and I'm already a germaphobe anyway. So, like, one of my doctors was like, "This is probably the perfect time for you because now you can be obnoxious about, you know, being a germaphobe, and no one's gonna make fun of you, or you know, you won't annoy anybody." But you know, I had to turn my mindfulness up a few notch, and you know, I still have to work and I still have to live my life like everybody else. But you know, yeah, I mean, it really taught me a lot about myself. Do you remember when we would get on our virtual happy hours?
Yes.
Okay, so one of the things that I ended up doing that became a habit for me was I started creating my own happy hours on Fridays because we were doing happy hours at work. And instead of just getting on Zoom and just kind of looking at each other and having small talk, which I absolutely hated, I would actually have a real happy hour. Like, I would put together my little spread and have my drink. And so the reoccurring theme was, Q, what are you eating and what are you drinking? So I did that. And then one of the other things that I started doing was having brunch on Sundays, which everybody who knows me knows that's my jam. I still do that every Sunday. That's my thing that I do for myself. So I learned a lot of self-love during COVID.
Yes, yes. So what makes Qawnana Lee special?
So at first I was gonna say nothing because everybody is special. And so because everybody is special, I don't feel like I'm special. But I will say, in this journey of getting to really learn who I am and understanding who I am, I do think that I have a unique ability to have a level of compassion and empathy for people. And I can kind of look past circumstances and situations that most people can't. I'm kind of that gray area person. Like, most people kind of think black and white, like it either is like this or it's like that. And for me, I'm ready to kind of analyze and dissect it down a little bit more. Yeah. Like, my favorite line is, I've got questions. And you're
Yes.
laughing because you know.
Yes.
So I would have to say that I think that's what makes me unique.
Okay. Okay. So today we celebrate Veterans Day.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you and why?
Wow. Well, the thing that I think about the most is the word selfless. It takes a very selfless, courageous individual. And I think about all of those who served before me, those that served with me, and those who currently serve. Um, the courage that it takes to raise your right hand and volunteer to take on a role or a job or responsibility that basically allows us to have the freedom that we have today. Um, there are a lot of selfless and courageous things that we do as human beings, right? But when I think about, like, I was 18. Actually, I was 17 years old when I signed the contract to go into the Army. And I was 18 when I actually went off to basic training. I mean, I was a baby, you know, And so, you know, I think about all of the young men and women. They get you when you're young, they get you when you have no fear. They get you when you still got good joints, you know, and you've got good stamina, and I guess you're moldable and you're coachable. And you know, I don't even know that a lot of us really know the magnitude of what we're signing up for until much later.
Yeah.
Right? I really don't. I feel like I feel like I did, um, but I don't know. You know, I really don't, because they get you young. So I really just think about, you know, the men and women who literally sacrifice their freedom for our freedom. And you know, it's an elite group of men and women. And you know, I thank you for saying that. I still continue to serve, because that's really the mindset we all have. You know, once you've served, you're always serving, even if it's not, you know, on the battlefield, or you're no longer in the service. The way we operate, you know, once you've done that line of work, like we operate different. And it's always from a capacity of service. But
Awesome, awesome. So I'm glad you mentioned your age, because I posted two photos of you.
yeah,
So I I posted a photo of you in your uniform,
yeah,
and then I posted a photo of you now.
yeah.
And for me, I can look at them both and tell the difference.
Uh huh.
And there's some dashes in
Uh
between
huh.
there of that young lady that was in the military and the young lady that stood bold in that green
Yeah.
today.
Two
So
different green.
two different.
yeah.
So if your older self can go back and speak to the young lady, if that picture, the older picture, can go back and speak to the young lady that's in that uniform, what would you tell her?
You're enough. You're enough. That you are enough. You've always been enough, and you will always be enough. Like, it's that simple. I was in that photo, I believe I was 22 years old. Yeah. And I'm 43 now. So, yeah, I definitely would have told her that she's enough. She will always be enough, and she's enough. Um, when you're that young and you're a woman, and a woman of color, and you serve in the armed forces, it hits different. And so I remember um, always trying to strive and to aim high and to be the best of the best. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there was a little bit of added pressure. Sometimes you let people get in your ear, and you let them tell you what you can and can't do. And I just the competitive edge was just always there, even when it didn't need to be. And I just, you know, would have been nice for someone to tell her that she's enough, and she's always been enough. So I think that's what I would say to her.
Awesome. So you hold so many titles, or you have so many titles that you hold.
Yeah.
Out of all those titles, and you can name them if you want,
Yeah.
which one are you the most proud of?
Being a mom. Being a mom. I mean, I feel like all of the things that I've done, they all come from the inspiration of being somebody's mama. you know, I have both a son and a daughter. So for me, and you understand, like, you have a son and you have two daughters. So there's a level of expectation that you have to set for yourself, because both your son and your daughter are watching you. And um, I think that mom has been the most fulfilling one, but it has definitely inspired me to become I was a former professional bodybuilder or figure competitor. I chose to fulfill that dream because it was a dream I had in high school. And when I got into my mid 20s, I realized that I hadn't fulfilled a dream that I said I wanted to. And the purpose behind why I chose to go and fulfill that dream was because not only did I have children who were watching me, but I also have a younger sister who at the time was graduating from high school, and we were going down memory lane. And I remember looking at my high school, my senior book, and it was like, I can't wait to see you on the bodybuilding stage. I can't wait to see you on ESPN. And it was in that moment, like the light turned on for me. And I realized, like, I said I was going to go and do these things, and I haven't done these things. I want my children to, and my sister to be able to see that, you know, you can't just say you want to do something, like you got to go and do it. And I didn't even care if I wasn't going to be successful at it. But what I didn't want was to say that I wanted to do it and I had never done it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, from doing that, it opened up an opportunity for me to actually run my own bodybuilding competition business. So I was a competition coach, and I coached hundreds of women to literally get on stage and do what I do, whether it was amateur on an amateur level or the pro level. And the thing that I enjoyed the most about being their coach was that I was coaching women who were typically in their 30s into their 50s. So I didn't really have any 20 somethings, which is very unusual in the industry. And I specialized in women in particular because when I was competing, there weren't really any coaches for women at the time. And matter of fact, not only were there weren't any coaches for like women coaches, but there were a lot of women of color bodybuilders at the time. Like in the figure industry, figure had just become a category, and there weren't a lot of women of color competing in figure. And so, I was one of very few. There were probably maybe 5 of us in the industry at the time. And then from there, it stemmed into me becoming a professional makeup artist. And, one day I'm working for Chanel and doing some high profile, working with some high profile clients, working under Chanel. And so, those are just a couple of things. But the thing that I currently do now, I'm the director of operations for East and Ivy LLC of Capital Properties of Keller Williams. And then I also run the staging company. So the East and Ivy Home Staging and Redesign. And literally it's right next door to my house. So that's great. Operations and project management, human resources is kind of like professionally what I'm really knee deep in. It doesn't really matter what role I do. Like it always falls around operations or project management or human resources.
So what have been since you went ahead of me?
Yeah.
So what have been the blueprint for your success in being an entrepreneur? I mean, because you have a lot of entrepreneurs that succeed at it, and then you have some that have not succeeded. So what has been your blueprint?
To be honest with you, I honestly think that it was in my DNA because I grew up a lot. My mother has a lot of sisters, and I mean, gosh, my whole family, they're all entrepreneurs. I grew up around a family of entrepreneurs. I have cousins who have their own businesses, my aunts who are all crafty and do hair. Like I remember my mom being a hairdresser right in our house. And what's really funny is when I was in high school, I worked at a bagel shop, did sports, but I also did hair at my mom's house and made money on the side. So I've literally I've been an entrepreneur since I was in high school. Like those side hustles are just kind of ingrained in me because I grew up watching the women in my family do all sorts of things. Like I have one aunt who used to make Easter baskets and sell Easter baskets at Easter or holiday baskets during Christmas time. And I literally come from a long line of hairdressers, like self-taught hairdressers that, so I think it was kind of inevitable. Like I said, I mean, I got quite a few cousins that are also entrepreneurs. Yeah. So, I mean, I just think I was kind of destined to be an entrepreneur. I think it was in my DNA. I've just literally, since I was a little girl, I've watched people just have side hustles. And so I don't know anything else.
So what have been some of your obstacles you have faced in your life, and how did you overcome them?
Well, Hmm. I think, well, obviously, I mean, I'm a cancer survivor. I've survived cancer more than once. Um, like I said earlier in this meeting, I went through a divorce in the middle of COVID. Um, do you remember when I came to work and I was like, why is everything foggy? Remember that? No, like in 2019, and I almost lost my vision with that because
Mm-hmm.
that was crazy. Um, I mean, I've been through a couple of things, but I think the thing that got me through all of it is attitude, and the determination to just not lay down and take it. Just not just lay down and take it. Hear what I have to hear about it and get up and say, okay, what do I need to do to what I need to do.
Yeah.
But because I chose not to sit in this pool of self-loathing or feeling sorry for myself in any circumstance, I think I probably got irritated more than anything, and that would just kind of push me to want to get through it. But more importantly, like I was saying earlier, I'm really private, and so I was very mindful about how much stuff I would outwardly share, not because I didn't want people to be there for me, not because I didn't think people cared, but because sometimes that energy doesn't help.
Right.
Sometimes that, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that's happening to you, and what can I do? People want to just kind of koala bear you and hug you to death, and it doesn't help someone like me. I'm like, okay, I'm strategic. Okay, what's next? What do we do now? How do we, And so
Yeah.
I think that mindset, and also just trying to remain positive, even when I didn't want to remain positive. Um, I think that really helped me get through pretty much everything that I've gone through. I mean, even in my childhood, I mean, I had a really rough upbringing, and really, I think my positive attitude, trying to find something positive in every situation, is what
Yeah.
got me through everything that I've gone through.
Yeah. So, what have been your biggest achievements in your life, and what did you learn from achieving it?
So I'm gonna go back to my kids. I'm gonna blame it on them. I'm gonna blame it on them. No, seriously, because if my kids weren't here, I don't know that I would have had nearly as much inspiration. Now I say that, but then I also have a sister and brother. My sister's 10 years younger than me. My brother's 8 years younger than me, and I was very instrumental in their life. I practically helped my mother raise them. So they were kind of my kids before I had kids. So I don't want to discredit them by any means. But when you become a parent of your own children, it just it hits different.
Yeah.
Um, and the reason why I say they were my biggest accomplishments is because they were my greatest lessons.
Yeah.
I learned unconditional love through them. I learned to be open minded through them. I learned to be more curious because of them. Um, I learned gentleness because of them. I learned affection because of them. I like they literally were the lesson. Both of them, they teach me some lessons. They Until this day they teach me lessons that and it's funny. I have conversations with them and they'll say stuff, and I'm like, "How old are you again?" you know, um, and you've interviewed my daughter, so you
Yeah.
understand exactly what I'm talking
She's
about.
watching. She's
Yeah,
watching.
is she?
Yeah.
Hi, honey. But yeah, I mean, that's probably my greatest accomplishment. I really wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. I tell my daughter every on her birthday, instead of saying happy birthday to her, I always say thank you for saving my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So, what do you believe your purpose or assignment is for
Mm.
your life here on earth?
Kindness and mindfulness. To be kind to people no matter what, and to be mindful. Uh, to be mindful. I
Okay.
don't I don't think we do enough of that.
No.
I don't think there's enough mindfulness going on. Not just mindfulness of other people, but mindfulness for yourself. right? Like, I know for a fact I didn't give myself enough grace in my younger years. I was very, very difficult to myself and very hard on myself. So being mindful that, it's okay. It's okay to not be good at something. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay to be tired. It's, but to be kind and to be mindful. I think that's really I won't say my only purpose, but one of my biggest purposes here. And it's effortless for me to be kind and mindful.
Okay. Sitting here today, do you believe God was with you through your life journey?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I like really pass absolutely. I don't even think I have anything else to say to that.
So who was your mentor or who
um,
keep you covered?
well, so out of mindfulness and respect for keeping their privacy, I won't name any names, but I do have three. Um, all three of these people either currently serve or have retired from the armed forces. They were all officers of the military, and they all come from different walks of life. And when I went on this journey of getting to know myself or learn more about who I am, the one thing that I had discovered is I had never had mentors before. I had done all sorts of mentoring, which I thought was weird. I thought it was weird that people wanted me to mentor them, because when people would ask me, I wanted to say no, but also didn't want to turn people down.
Right.
But it's like, how do you mentor someone who's never been mentored, right? And so what I learned is the only way to get something is to ask. So I have three people in particular that I go to for different things, different perspectives, whether it be personal perspective, financial perspective, um, as a woman of color perspective, you name it. I can go to them with anything, and I can be fully transparent with these people, and they don't stir me astray. And I'm really
Good.
grateful for them. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. So so also you consider yourself as a mentor as well.
Well, I don't have a choice. What I'm finding is that even if people aren't deliberately asking me to mentor them, I'm finding that naturally that is what's happening. And of course, because I'm a parent, of course I'm a mentor. I have a very close relationship with my siblings and my kids. And so I find that I am more of a mentor and a coach to them, and not so much more of like mommy, even though she still calls me mommy. But so yes. And then, you know, I, I think even in my current role in what I do at Easton Ivy, I'd like to believe that I'm very much a mentor to my team. When I worked with you at the Navy League, I definitely had an open door policy, and there was a lot of coaching and mentoring going on there for sure.
And you're also one of my mentors as well.
Yeah, yeah, yes. So yeah, I'd like to. I don't. I mean, I hope that I'm doing you all a service.
You are, you are, you are, you are. So what is next? What is next for Q? What is next?
So I wrote down a couple of things that I'd like to accomplish, and then I had decided that because in my past life, I used to try to do all the things, right? Everything all the time. And in this new life, I've promised myself to slow down a little bit. And the one thing that I absolutely I fantasized about this as a kid is actually traveling. And so before I kind of commit to all of these other projects and passion projects and things that are going to have me super busy, I promised myself that I would do what I'd fantasized. Remember, I said earlier, if you say you're going to do something, you should do it. Well, now I'm doing that, and so right now it's unapologetically traveling, not just traveling. but unapologetically traveling and not feeling guilty about it, going out here and exploring the world with my face mask and my gloves and my hazmat suit on and all the things, but going out here and just exploring life and enjoying foods and enjoying culture and seeing different places, and even going back to places I've been before and just exploring them again with this new mindset. That's what I'm doing right now outside of what I have going on at work. Because obviously being a director of operations is a busy job. So my right now is travel. You ask me again in a year, it could be something else. Like I said, I got a list of things that I'd like to consider doing, but I also recognize that I can always change my mind if I want to. But right now, it is definitely traveling.
Okay, you said something that you said unapologetic
Yes.
traveling. So you used to feel you saying that you felt when you used to travel that you was kind of
I felt guilty about it a little
guilty
bit.
about traveling.
I did. I mean, when you raise a family, and here's the thing, I don't know that the guilt was put on me by any means. I think a lot of times we put the guilt on ourselves. I was putting way more pressure on myself than I probably, I know I should not have put as much pressure on myself. You're a mother, right? You understand. And that doesn't mean that I didn't travel. My sister and I would take trips occasionally together. I didn't do it often, but when I did, I found myself not being able to settle in that airplane and be excited about my destination. And then when I got to my destination, I'm wondering, did the kids get their cereal that I was supposed to buy before I left? Did the permission slips for the field trips get signed before I left? Did they remember to turn off all the lights before they went to bed? I'm not enjoying the travel the way I should, and I'm calling to check in, and if I'm not calling to check in, the little one who's watching us right now, she's calling me to check in, and Mama, where are you at, and are you okay? So and so there was a little bit of guilt there, and so. Also, too, when you're managing a household and you have a family, there was also the guilt of, should I have spent the money on this?
Right.
Could this money have gone to something else?
I'm saying right, but I don't know that feeling, but go ahead. Because look, I traveled and it was like,
I know you do. I know you do. I'll see when I get back. Right?
Yeah, I needed time for myself. Y'all got a dad. Sherman, you good? Okay. All right. Because mommy need time to rejuvenate and then come back and be like, woo, okay.
Yeah,
but
I think the pressure was more. I think the pressure was more me.
Yeah.
It was more of me not actually probably feeling like I earned it or deserved it. And even though I worked so hard and I know I earned it, but it was just this little bit of guilt that I would always have. And now I don't have any of that. I'm just like, oh, you going on a trip? You got another seat? I'll go. Here's my money.
Right. See you in Puerto Rico.
See you in Puerto Rico. Hello. Yeah. I mean, listen, I've got stuff already paid for and planned in 2022. When I say y'all gonna see these posts of me out, I told my daughter I was out in these streets, and she goes, "No, you out on these airplanes."
I love it. I love it. Well, it's good as you're my friend, you're my sister, to see, because I know your journey.
Yeah.
To see you smiling and saying, "Hey, I got trips packed. I'm gone." Just to see that is beautiful. So, how can my viewers follow you and all the exciting stuff you have going on?
So I'm on Instagram. I mostly post food and travel and inspirational stuff. I do post inspirational stuff. But you can find me as Curly Q on Instagram. And then I'm on Facebook, Qawnana Lee. I'm kind of old school. Like, I don't have all of those other platforms. I don't have the Snapchats and all the other things. I'm Instagram and Facebook. So Qawnana Lee on Facebook, Curly Q on Instagram. And Instagram is probably where you want to follow me the most, unless I remember to actually tag Facebook, because that's where I'm going to be taking pictures of all of the food and all of the pretty drinks and all of the scenery on my travels. So
Cool. And she know how to stage houses, y'all. And she know how to. She didn't get too much into that.
Yeah, I do
But
stage houses. I stage house. But in all seriousness, for those of you who are looking to list your property, what I will say is this: you absolutely need to consider staging your house, whether it's staging it with the things that you own or having it emptied and hiring a professional to come in and stage your house, because this market is extremely competitive. And I will tell you what, you can get top dollar for your property, and it won't sit as long if you stage it. You're giving people an idea of what the house could look like. You're creating an experience for them when you stage your property. Well, I guess on these social media platforms, you can find me also on Easton Ivy Staging on Facebook, and also on Instagram. And then the team is Easton Ivy of Capital Properties, Keller Williams Capital Properties for real estate. So I guess I got more than two social medias.
Yes. Well, thank you for coming in, sitting down. You're going to see more of her. Like I said, she's on YBC board. She's the vice president. So we're going to be doing some collaborations with other businesses. We have 2 coming up, partnering up with the Heart of Louise. Erica Davis is having, she's having the blanket drive. We're going to be feeding the homeless. But I'll have a flyer up and posted if you would like to donate to that. We're taking donations. Everybody know around this time, it's always great to give. It's always great to give every day.
Every day.
But it's getting colder. People are hungry. So, we just like to give back to make sure that folks are covered while they are in their situations and being fed as well. We also have YBC is also partnering up with Ignite Her, a gala in December. We're gonna be partying.
Yeah.
We're gonna be partying into 2022.
Yeah.
We're gonna be partying. Yes, we're gonna be partying with a purpose.
Partying with a purpose.
It's for a purpose.
That's right.
The Ignite Her will be helping young women, seasoned women, entrepreneurs, if you're starting out in business, to do a pitch of your business and have a chance to earn some seed money. So that flyer is going to go out as well on my platform. So just make sure if you know anybody, or if you that person, you that her, make sure you contact Georgette Littlejohn regarding the pitch. I'm not sure if it's too late. I'm not sure, but I'll make sure all the information get on my platform. So before we close out, can you leave the men and women that is watching some encouraging words, whether in entrepreneurship or even if they want to serve?
Sure. Well, let me start off by saying, do what makes you happy, whatever that is. As long as you are being a kind person, do what makes you happy. Live your life for the sake of yourself. The only thing you can control is your attitude on life. You can't control anything else. When it comes to entrepreneurship, get a mentor. It's the best thing you can do for yourself. Get a mentor. Surround yourself with other entrepreneurs, like-minded people who can inspire you and motivate you with your vision. And then when it comes to the military, for young men and women, if you don't have a plan, or you come from a humble upbringing like I did, the military is a great opportunity for stability, for structure, for organizational skills, for professionalism that you won't learn from anywhere else. It's unmatched. And then, of course, there are educational opportunities that if you can't afford those, if you don't have college money, I didn't have college money, just sitting in a bank, and I knew my mother couldn't apply for, a loan or student loan. I knew there was no way I could either. And I don't even know at the time I was quite ready for college right away anyway. But the military is a great avenue, and college is not always the next step for everyone. And so Don't be afraid to do your research. Don't be afraid to inquire. It doesn't hurt to have a conversation. There are multiple branches of the military. You don't have to choose the first recruiter that you talk to. Interview recruiters. Choose your branch wisely based on who you are, if you know who you are, and go for it if that's what you want to do. But more importantly, do what makes you happy. Live your life for the sake of yourself. That's my advice.
Amen. Amen. So we have a couple of comments here.
Okay.
I just wanted to get your baby girl up there. That's from your baby girl.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. And thank you for your service.
Yes. Thank you for your service, Qawnana. Yes.
Oh, I meant to say that. Let me give my little plug real quick. So not only am I all those things I said earlier, but I'm also a mother of a military service member. Proud mother, military mama.
And then we have a couple of them. There's a lot of people on here that says thank you for your service.
Oh,
I just can't see the names, but I know E is watching.
Hey, E.
Carla Louise, yes, we'll be partnering up with her with the blanket drive, so we'll make sure that we get those in there. Someone said, "Great job, ladies." Can't see you guys' names. But yes. Well, thank you for sitting down with me.
Of course.
It took her a minute to get on here because she was like, no. She was like, no. But I was like, come on. She was like, no. I was like, I interviewed mostly everybody that was on my board already. And she was like, no. So I'm glad this time you said yes.
Well, I knew that if I didn't say yes, you wasn't going to stop hounding me. So here I am.
But yes.
Well, thank you for having me again. And I'm so very, very proud of you for listening to your purpose and moving forward with it. And I know this was tough. And yes, I was here from the beginning in your office, getting all in your face and telling you what you need to do. And so thank you for your sisterhood and your friendship, your, uncontinued love. And again, kudos to you for what you've done with YBC so far. I am looking forward to what is to come because I know there are big things to come and I cannot wait.
Girl, we're going to be on TV.
We're going to be on TV. We're going to be on TV. Well, no, you're going to be on TV. I'm going to be in the background. I don't want to be on TV.
Hey, I like the background too, but that's another story. Yeah. But thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. If you know a service member, reach out to them and just say,
yes, thank a veteran today.
Yes, thank you for Veterans Day. But you know what? Every day.
Thank them every day.
Absolutely. Every day is Veterans Day. Every day is People Day. Mm-hmm. Just hug the ones you love. Just thank the ones you love because life is too short. You might be here today and you might be gone tomorrow. So just make sure you love on people and be kind and be respectful and be non-judgmental. Amen. And saying that, have a great evening, and I'll see you next week. Enjoy. Hold on, Q.